Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. We've got Dr. Godbless Safoha, the Executive Secretary Association of Non-Bank Microfinance Institutions of Nigeria, back with us. But just let's quickly wrap up here with Bosin, and then we'll continue the conversation with you, Dr. Safoha. Thank you so much for staying with us. So, Bosin, just before we went on that break, you were talking about the needs and the seeds, and in terms of trying to encourage social inclusion.
We need to harmonize everything we've done so far, and I think I'll allow Dr. Godbless to talk to more today. But from a business journalist point of view, and having seen a few of these things over the years, I think the microfinance are not doing too badly if you put them within the context of the economy, macro, monetary policy environment where they're situated. The central bank is busy with the big stories, with the big issues. And the central bank has been trying to do a big job, trying to juggle all the big banks with the microfinance banks, with the currencies and what have you, the state of the economy, the political environment. So it's been quite heavy for the central bank to manage. The NDIC is also doing its own best. Which is the Deposit Insurance Corporation, trying to lend in a helping hand. BOE is also doing a little bit, but we need to go back to the drawing board and see how much more assistance we can provide the microfinance banks, again, to do a lot more. At the bottom of the pyramid, we're already doing the little and the struggling to put smile on the number of people. So you'll be shocked how many people, especially women, that the microfinance banks are putting smiles on their faces, they're putting food on their tables, they are getting them the opportunity to pay school fees and pay house rent. You would know at the bottom. If you go to the banking hall of some of the microfinance banks in Lagos, there is like a marketplace. People coming from 5,000 to 500,000, and they are giving these out, and people are giving testimonies all across Nigeria about what the microfinance banks are doing. And I think we need, from the policy point of view, Central Bank, Ministry of Finance, help them a little bit more at the federal level and get them involved, especially again at the state level. That's why we encourage, if you see some states setting up microfinance banks, to help. But I'll leave that to Doctor. I think he knows more than I do.
Well, Dr. Safoha, let me bring you into this conversation, Bosin. Thank you so much. Dr. Safoha, so listening to Bosin and talking about the needs and talking about the seeds, microfinance banks are not doing too badly. You were already talking about some of the interventions like cooperatives and the rest of it. Well, talk to us a little bit more about how the association has helped, especially with regards to financial linkage. That's one of the things that you talk about.
Thank you very much, Harriet, and I want to appreciate you for this opportunity. Now, let me just say this quickly, that you cannot separate the microfinance banks and the microfinance institutions completely. It's a whole ecosystem. And where the microfinance banks stop, that is where the microfinance institutions pick up from, because they are more rural inclined than the microfinance banks. And let me say this again, which as I earlier said, that we have over 6,000 of such institutions that are with the association, that are serving over 4 million individuals in Nigeria, which 90% of them are rural based. And total savings mobilized in the sector is over 185 billion naira. Total loan disbursed to women and youths in the rural area is over 235 billion naira. And capital that is in the sector is over 145 billion naira. Of course, if you look at the credit gap in Nigeria, you will know that what we are talking about is just a drop in the ocean. In the ocean. Now, in terms of financial linkage, we have identified those credit gaps. And we also discovered that microfinance institutions cannot do much if we don't link them to formal financial institutions to access credit. But before microfinance institutions can access real credit, there are a lot of things that have to be done. Number one, they have to prove to commercial source of funds that they are profitable. Because if you are not profitable, no commercial bank would like to put their money or invest their money in a microfinance institution. And that is where the association comes in. We provide capacity building for microfinance institutions, train them on how to develop good business model and how they can reach out to more poor people in the rural areas. Recently, we just finished a training.
Dr. Safoha, sorry to cut you here. We really do not have so much time, because of the issues that we had with regards technical and the rest of it. So let's try to get in as much as we can. Talk to us about what the association is doing with regards keen into this administration's social inclusion agenda.
Thank you very much. The association is working very hard to make sure that will reach more people. And the target that we have is to reach 1 million Nigerians within the next 1 year. We have trained 200 microfinance institutions on rural business line and how we can reach 1 million households in the rural areas. Because you will agree with me that the challenge we are having today is lack of access to finance in the rural areas. And the association is providing that capacity to microfinance institutions to reach out to the people in the rural area. And the target is women and youth. If you go to the rural areas, you will see micro entrepreneurs that are women, they have the capacity, but they don't have the access to fund. And what we are doing is to make sure that microfinance institutions are properly positioned to release credit to people who are in the rural areas. And on the other hand, because of lack of access to funding on the part of the microfinance institution, we also have to link them to commercial source of funds for them to have enough funds to be able to lend to the rural areas. What we are looking forward to from this administration is to make sure that government provide the enabling environment for microfinance institutions to thrive in the rural areas.
But then you see, the microfinance institutions also have another challenge. There's been analysts talking about a near recession for the economy, possibly by 2016. The federal government has already started putting together a recession fund, about 25 billion recession fund. How do microfinance institutions, for instance, intend to contribute to ensure that this impending recession is actually staved off?
Okay, thank you very much. The microfinance institutions, they are also faced with enormous challenges. For example, the issue of capital, like I said earlier, the issue of capacity, and the issue of cost. For you to contribute meaningfully to the economy, you must have capacity, you must have capital, and you must find ways of reducing cost. And that is where the association is coming in, to make sure we build business models that are sustainable, that microfinance can use to reach out to more people. We make sure we build their capacity so that they have a standardized system. Because one of the challenges that the microfinance institutions are having today is that they don't have good structures in place. And with the advent of the association, we're able to make sure that the capacity of the MFIs are built to have standardized institutions. And in terms of outreach, we need to bring in technology. If you look at the East African countries, they are using technology to do much. You want to do financial inclusion, you want to reach out to more people in the rural areas, you need to deploy technology. And the association have so far deployed a cloud-based microfinance application to over 250 MFIs around the country so that they will be able to use this technology to reach out to more people. Banking has gone beyond brick and mortar. We are looking at how microfinance institutions can leverage on technology to reach out to millions of Nigeria out there.
Dr.
And by
Safuha,
so doing, to be able to contribute meaningfully to the economy.
Dr. Safuha, thank you so much for joining me and being patient with us during this conversation. Dr. Godbless Safuha is the Executive Secretary, Association of Non-Bank Microfinance Institutions of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
And that's it on today's edition of the program. Many thanks for spending time with us, and thank you also for sending in your comments and contributions as well. The conversation continues online. I'm Harriet Agbenyi. Have a profitable day.